Yeah, I mean, the word Sanatana Dharma, Sanatana means eternal. Dharma is that which sustains, that which endures, that which upholds. So the way that upholds everybody is Sanatana Dharma. So who is Sanatani? Anyone who is interested in living an upheld life, a life of high principles. That's a Sanatani. So Sanatana Dharma is a way of life. It is not a structure of belief. It's not a belief structure. So even the word Hinduism is a colonial word. If you read the Shastra, they do not speak of it. It's a civilizational. Sanatana Dharma is a civilizational movement. It is not just a structure of belief, and that's why it is difficult to understand. Even if you label Hinduism, it is difficult to understand. There is no singular prophet, there is no singular book, there is no singular ritual, there is no singular place of worship. Yes? So you can say, I am God, and that's not blasphemy. You can be a Hindu. You can say there is no God, you can be a Hindu. You can say God is a woman, and that too a black woman, you can be a Hindu. You can say God is a woman, but white one, you can be a Hindu. You can say God is an elephant, you can be a Hindu. So there is phenomenal. You can say the only God is the formless, absolute, nirguna Brahman. You can be a Hindu. You can say there is only God is within me, that's it. You can be a Hindu. So there is no singular idea, right? It is vast. And that is why it is easy to misunderstand it, because it is not just a structure of belief. It's an invitation to explore, deepen, dive. It's a way to help us as a species evolve and grow. And so from where we stand, everybody is Sanatani. Anyone who is interested in evolution, in growth, in living a life of deeper meaning is Sanatani. The word Hinduism was coined by Britishers because when they came to India, at that time, they saw one of the expressions of Abrahamic faith was here, right? Islam. The beauty of India is anything that arose here, it got part of India, right? So Islam, many wonderful things also happened within the Mughal Empire and a lot of atrocities as well. But when the Britishers through the East India started to trade and come in, they saw Islam, and in Islam, of course, as the Abrahamic faiths are, there is a very singular story. You might have offshoots in it, but fundamentally the story is same. But then they saw this other thing which was going on, and so this word got coined based on the Indus River, that civilization that developed around Indus, and the word Hindu, and that Hinduism, and then one of the colonial practices of the East India Company at that time was divide and rule. Right? This was their one of principles through which they tried to conquer any land. And it was, how to create these identities and create seeds of separation more and more. And if you see any crack, instead of healing it, how to make that crack bigger so that we can use it to our advantage of colonizing this huge mass of people. Our country at that time, which was economically very vibrant, but a people who are not actually outward facing, right? Because there has been a civilizational which was predominantly internal facing, more inward, looking in. So you see, there was not a going out and conquering other lands so much. So what is often thought of as Hinduism is not what Sanatana Dharma is. It's a big misunderstanding. And what is Sanatana Dharma, as far as the content of it, is extremely difficult to understand. Because it is not just a poem. It's not just some commandments. It is not just one book. It is an invitation to explore, to dive deep, to grow. And I can guarantee that if anyone who is genuinely interested, if they really go deep within what Sanatana Dharma is, if you really go deep into the yogic teaching, you will realize that it is not against anyone, right? And no matter what your belief system is, it has room for you. And it actually brings us as these species living on this tiny blue dot together. So I personally always say that yoga is the spiritual heritage of humanity. It's not just an Indian thing. Sari is Indian thing. Gulab jamun is an Indian thing. Putting salt in your juice is an Indian thing. But It's like Einstein discovered, or Newton discovered gravity or mentioned gravity. That does not mean that Indians were not affected by gravity before that. Or, people living in Uruguay don't have gravity. They have as much gravity as, English people do. And so, gravity is a universal force. It is not a cultural thing. So, if something works, truth which works, it should work universally. And that's why yoga is spreading. That's why you are here, right? And anybody who comes to this path of yoga, of spirituality, comes out of their own volition. There is no forcible conversion. There is no thing that, okay, if you convert, you will get free education. There is nothing like that. If you convert to become interested in yoga, we will send you to free schooling. Nothing like that happens. So you are only interested, you become interested in it if something in you awakens, right? There is something in your own soul which says, no, there has to be something deeper about this life. There has to be something more to this life than just living through the surface. So that is, I said, the most sincere and deep souls end up coming to the yogic teachings. And they come out of their own volition. That is why it belongs to all of us. It is our spiritual heritage. And when I say our, I'm not speaking as an Indian man. I'm speaking as a human being living on this blue dot. It's our tradition, and it can heal our planet. That's the power of these teachings. It can heal and elevate all of us. Our spirituality, our concept of God should not separate us. It should bring us together. There is this idea that God made us in His image. But we must also realize that we make God in our image. So if our God is afraid of other gods, it's not God, it is you. If your God is judgmental about other gods, it's not God, it's your own imagination. So before God, yes, God made us in her image. I'm using the pronoun her here intentionally. But we must be aware that we make God also in our image. So as we change, our gods also change. They become more inclusive, less threatened by other gods. If your God is so easily threatened by other gods, he's not God, is he? It's some cartoon character. God cannot be threatened. If there is only God, that's all there is. We cannot have God and someone else. So Sanatan is for all of us. It's just a word, a Sanskrit word, but actually it is just saying it is eternal way. We are all here to grow. Dharma's primary meaning is growth. Dharma is mistranslated sometimes as a belief system. No, that is not that. Dharma means growth. That is our param dharma, as Krishna says, param dharma. What is my dharma? If anybody on the planet asks, what is my dharma? Grow, evolve, expand your consciousness. That's your dharma. That's why we are all here. We are all here to grow, to evolve. That is our param dharma. And if you do your own dharma, Krishna says, if you do your own dharma correctly, then everything else falls into place. Yato Dharma Tato Jaya. Meaning, if you grow, you take care of your own consciousness, your own heart, your own alignment, then everything else falls into place. That is Sanatana Dharma. That is the teachings of yoga. And I'm sure anybody who is right in their mind is interested in living a beautiful life. Yes or no? Anybody who is right in their mind wants to live a beautiful life, wants to have a beautiful heart. That's what these teachings are, to help us fulfill our intention, to help us fulfill our deepest desires. So, misunderstanding is cheap. That is why there is so much misunderstanding. Misunderstanding is cheap. You don't have to do anything to misunderstand. To understand requires work. You have to grow. You have to challenge your own assumptions, your own prejudices, your own ignorance. So, to truly understand anything is costly, but infinitely rewarding. Misunderstanding is very, very cheap, but it does not reward you. It robs you of the possibility. So there is nothing great about misunderstanding. It's rampant. We have to understand that the default state is misunderstanding, because understanding requires work. Not everybody, even though we are interested in being happy, but we don't want to work for it. Right? So it happens. Misunderstanding is very common. They misunderstood Christ, not just Sanatana Dharma. Yes, what Christ said, seek ye first the kingdom of God, everything shall be. Do not bow to false gods before me. And they thought it is about statues. Let's burn the temples. Let's destroy that. That's what he said. Come on. If you ask, imagine, is that possible? You ask, Jesus is walking. He says, hey, Christ, yes, there is a temple there. Should we break it? Should we burn it? You think he would say, yes, let's go ahead and do that. Would he say, let's go ahead and burn the library? No sane human being will do that. Forget Christ, this magnanimous being, this radiant being. Why would he ever say, let's burn temples, destroy temples? Yes? Misunderstanding is rampant. Understanding takes work.